me. Um, okay, so without further ado, we are going to get started. Me, now, you're a makeup artist. Oh, did I say quick? So I was trying to come on here and be flashy. Um,
Oh, I like your glasses. Okay, okay, okay. Those are cute.
now if I pull them off, it's because I can't see now.
I like that pink lipstick too. That's cute.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pink Portal. Tonight, in the Pink Portal, we got none other than the Brock. When I tell you, so you want to know who or what is the Pink Portal? The Pink Portal is a virtual gateway to prevention, inspiration, navigation, and knowledge. This is where clarity meets community and women step into their power. So, once again, welcome Shemeka Brock. I call her Meek because I know she'll get me told real quick.
Hey, well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm just over here giggling and smiling.
So, we all know a little bit about you. We know you Meek the makeup artist. So without further ado, we are going to jump in and we're going to start this podcast. First of all, welcome everyone once again. I'm your host, Narfunda Ross. I am a 17-year breast cancer survivor, member of Team WHIP. WHIP stands for Working to Help Those in Pink. You're probably wondering, well, why do you have Shemeka on? For those that know Shemeka, well, hey, once again, we're about prevention, inspiration, navigation, and knowledge. All things are not breast cancer centered. We do have to be aware of other health and wellness issues that are going on in the world. So tonight we know April is Stress Awareness Month, and I was sharing with I'm gonna call them me, if that's okay.
That is okay with me.
Sharing with me how all of a sudden we planned this out when weeks ago. We planned this out weeks ago, and as soon as we get up here, bam! I start stressing out. Blood pressure goes up. I was like, "Oh Lord, how can I talk to her and I'm gonna be stressing out?" I said, "I know she gonna get me because she, like I said, she get me told real quick, but it's in a good way." So once again, April is Stress Awareness Month, and sometimes we don't understand if we're stressing, what causes stress, how we can um deviate from being stressed. So tonight, that's why we got here on here. Well, who is Meek? Who is Meek? Well, I'm gonna let y'all hear who Meek is. Meek, tell them who you are.
All right, so of course I'm Shemeka Brock. A lot of people know me as Meek. A lot of people know me to, Kiki on Facebook and stuff like that. But some people know, and most people don't know, I am in the mental health field. I have my master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I'm currently pursuing my education specialist degree in clinical mental health counseling. So I am a mental health advocate. I am for all things mental health, wellness, in every sector: financial, mental, emotional, physical. So, with that, through my education, I also am very deeply involved in my community because if you don't know me, I'm sure you heard that I love my city. I love Lynette. I am a graduate of Champ High. Whoop whoop. I love to like empower people, especially people that look like me, because a lot of things are taboo in the Black community, whether that's health, physical health, going to the doctor, mental health, spiritual health, and I just want to be kind of that. well, not I don't want to be. I am that person that is kind of that liaison from the mental health world, the professional world, and also can relate to those that are still in my community that want to learn more. So I'm so honored to just be on here and just yap about mental health and everything that we need to know because I get really excited about stuff like this.
Me. Now, I heard you say you gave all your credentials in mental health and you're going for your ED specialist, correct?
Hmm.
So, in mental health counseling, what does it require?
So, are you speaking of like degree wise? So it requires a degree, master's degree or higher, as well as a licensure. I am not currently a licensed counselor. I am currently working on my ALC, which is what you do before you get licensed. I work in a very high stress environment, so I have decided to take a break from that while I'm currently still doing my EDS, and then later on I'll get licensed if that is the path that God has for me. If not, then I'll just continue to do what I'm doing. But yeah, it requires a license, requires education, and also besides the degree, it just requires a passion for people. A lot of people get in fields and they're not passionate about it. They just think it's for the money. And I'm here to tell you, baby, working in the human field is not always about the money because if it was about the money, more people would be there. It ain't about the money. I promise you that.
Want you to get at, you have to have a passion for this. This is something you just don't decide at the last minute. Okay, well, just let me get a degree in mental health and just sit on it because we all know mental health is on a rise here, not just in the United States but everywhere. And I heard you say that you're very passionate about your community. We all know Meek is passionate about their community and her schooling. So, um, tonight is one of those nights where I think you're gonna help me more so than the community because I was like, let me see if I can slide a little quick tutorial in here from me so she can get me together once again. So, what are some of your hobbies that you like to do?
Oh, of course I like to do makeup. I have taken a step back from makeup for a while because again, the job that I work in, it is very demanding and I just recently got promoted to another position. So I haven't been doing makeup as much, but I am getting back into it. I still, do a little something on the side, but I haven't been taking appointments. So I like makeup. What else I like? I like to travel. I like to just sit around my family and friends and just have a good time. I love to laugh. If anybody knows that I love to laugh. Um, and recently, within the last, I would say like 2 years, the gym is my hobby. One of my hobbies. I love going to the gym. Um, it's really like a good stress reliever for me. So, and I will get to talking about that, I guess, when we get into the question. So, yeah, those are some of my hobbies.
And the reason I asked that about your hobbies because sometimes when you're stressed out, you don't want to put the stuff on, as we say.
Hmm.
How is that important in the makeup world when you encounter those who are stressed?
I can say it just depends on the person, but we know that everybody says like, "Oh, when you look good, you feel good," and I believe that to be true. But even with all the makeup and all the things that you make up, if you're really dealing with something, you can't hide it. Especially for someone that's in that field. I've had clients plenty of times where I'm doing their makeup, and I love God. Oh, I forgot to tell you that's one of my hobbies. I love Jesus. That is a hobby for me.
Putting some words on the book here.
Yeah. So I usually am always playing gospel music when I was, doing makeup or whatever. And some of my clients would start crying or just go into this like deep thing. And I don't know what it is about me even before this. Like people just tell me their entire life story, which I'm grateful for. I don't, have a problem with that. So I think it's about making up what's on the inside before you putting makeup on the outside, because you can put makeup on the outside all the time and it's not gonna always, hide what you're going through.
It's not a concealant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, okay. And y'all, she does some good makeup. When I tell you, ooh, baby, she put you on the runway with her makeup. So, with that being said, and we heard what your hobbies are, what inspired you to go into the mental health field?
Um, Narfon, and a lot of people ask me this, and you know what? I really don't have like a true definite answer besides that I am a certified yapper. If you don't know what that means,
Tell us
that
what.
means I just love to talk. I love to talk. And I really do have a passion for helping people. Like I just I just want to know why people are the way they are and how I can help them. And then I guess as I got older, um I really have got deep into God and Jesus, and I want to help people that are believers like me understand that yes, Jesus is our all, but there is help out here besides running to the scripture every time, because sometimes we need tangible things. So I was just gonna get my degree in psychology because I wanted to be a math teacher. I have already been a math teacher. I would go back to the classroom, but mental health is really my field. So I just decided to like go back. And then when my brother passed away, I took some time off, but after it was just like a light that clicked on in my head, and I was like, I really need to take this very serious because I seen what mental health was like. I experienced it for myself. So I'm like, if I'm out here struggling and I'm educated, I know what to do and I know how to help. What about the people that don't know? That don't know? Like I can't be the one to not help somebody else. So I would think that's what inspired me. I guess my own experiences.
So you're what we say here in Team Whip. That's part of we teach, we empower, and we advocate. So you want to be that voice. You want to be an advocate for those who just don't quite understand what
Mm-hmm.
they don't know. You know, sometimes you can know how to do something, you don't know how, you don't understand how to execute it. So you want to be in that field to help your community. It reminds me a lot of my mom. She said that's why she went into education, because she saw so many of those in her neighborhood lacking, and she said she just didn't like that, and she
Mm-hmm.
them. So when they got older, they would know. So she was their voice for them until they understood how to execute what they knew. And so you said you a yapper. And how is yapping helpful in the mental health field?
So for one, it just builds that rapport with the client. And it also helps. So when I talk about like gap and just like I'm talking to you, how we're just building rapport and we're talking about things. When we first met, I didn't know that I was going to be on your podcast. You didn't know that I was going to be on your podcast. So I think it's very important for people in the mental health field and even just those outside to build rapport and build relationships, because you never know when you might need that person. You don't know what experiences they have experienced that may help you along in your future. And then like you said about your mom, so many of us look like I want to be that person, because way back when there weren't people that looked like me in the mental health field. There weren't people that looked like you. So I want to be like an example for the people that are coming up, or for somebody that's suffering with mental health. Like, oh, I don't have to be embarrassed. She looks like me. She talks like me. She dresses like me. So maybe she can relate to me. So just talking and just, being that example for someone.
Those that you can identify with. I have learned so much here recently in the past 3 months with this we call it podcast webcast. We actually had a guest on here who was explaining to me about their preference of physicians, because they felt that the physician could understand their skin type better than anybody.
Hmm.
And they explained that, and I was like, you know, about that. I'm just thinking, okay, doctor. No, you have to be with those. Well, not have to, but sometimes it's encouraging to be with those who can identify with what you're going through. Um, so mental health. Before we go forward, we just want to say hey to those who have come on tonight. Welcome to the Pink.
Hi, y'all.
And the pink stands for prevention, inspiration, navigation, and knowledge. I am Narfunda Ross. We are here with the guest, special guest, Shemeka, quote unquote, Meek Brock, talking about stress and mental health. April is Stress Awareness Month. So let's talk about that. You told us what inspired you to get in there because you're a yapper. You want to help people in mental health. Does it help to talk?
Yes, it does. And what I wanted to also add on that, it when you're talking and you're building that rapport and you have someone that resonates with you and relates to you, it helps to relieve some of that stress and some of the anxiety. I have a black PCP. Before that, all of my PCPs were of another race. I had no problem with that. But when I sought to get an African American doctor, when I came in, it was just like I didn't have a barrier built up. I didn't have a wall built up. I was able to talk and just tell her everything that was going on with me. So that's similar in the mental health field. Not saying that's always the case because some people in the mental health field prefer the person that looks opposite of them because they may fear that the person that looks like them may judge them. So I'm not saying that the same for everybody, but it is a big factor that it is a big contributing factor.
Okay. We want to. I don't know if you know this young lady, Isabella Wallace.
Yes, hey girl.
She said, "Thump it down, Pastor."
Look, not yet, but one day I'm gonna be inviting everybody to my church.
And you know what? And I really feel that it's going to be in the mental health perspective when you do it. That's going to help us tremendously when I
I
say
receive it. I receive it.
that. Um, we know her as Grandma Val, but Sister Valerie Kennedy, she says this is so very important. Mental health is so very important. Kind of quick,
Very important.
help us out on this. Some people say, oh, I'm stressed out. But then when they go to the doctor may say, oh, your anxiety level is a little high. Is there a difference? And if there is a difference between stress and anxiety, can you explain that to us?
Of course. So stress and anxiety, they are similar, but there are differences in stress and anxiety. So I'm not gonna talk all clinical. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna talk, regular. So stress is external. It comes when an external factor is triggering you. You don't have enough money to pay your bill. You're stressing. You're having relationship problems, you're stressing. Your car is messing up, you're stressing. You have a deadline at work, you're stressing. So your stress levels raise when you have an external factor that's triggering that. Anxiety is more internal, and it doesn't have to have a specific stress or anxiety. Is just something that lingers within, that is constant worrying, overthinking about anything. It does not have to do with something specific. I could be sitting here right now and I'm over here just talking, but in the back of my head I'm thinking, oh my god, what are they thinking about me? What are they saying about me? Am I doing good? Am I talking? That's anxiety. The stress is, oh my god, I have to get on here and I got this podcast coming up. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. That's stressing me. That's putting external stress on me. But internally, I'm here now. Nothing is going wrong. But in the back of my mind, I still could be worrying about what could happen. So those are the difference between stress and anxiety. And it goes a little bit further, but I don't want to, keep going in too deep. But unless you want me to now, I can. I don't.
Hey, this is what the portal is for. I'm telling when you come into the portal, you're going to get prevention, inspiration, navigation, and knowledge. We are all things pink in the portal. So
Okay, okay.
help us out.
Okay. So, and then again with stress. So, there's different levels of stress. Acute stress. So, I feel like we all experience acute stress, deadlines, financial stress and stuff like that. And then there's chronic stress that also can affect your health. Chronic stress is when it's long term and you're in toxic environments, you're having constant financial strains, you're having constant relationship strains, or you're having constant health complications that's increasing your stress levels, that in turn is increasing health. So it's kind of like a limbo. It's a limbo effect. And then we have episodic stress, which is repeated patterns of stress. Okay, you're up one week, then you're down next week. You're up one week and you're down next week. So it's just different levels of it, but all of it can impact your mental health as well as your physical health.
See, that's why I told you. That's why we had to have meet in portal tonight to help us out. So we got acute stress, chronic stress, and you said one other stress.
Episodic stress.
Anxiety stress. And there's a difference now. Anxiety is internal and stress is external. We want to jump on here and say hey to Pastor Kelsey Barnes. He said, hey, my friends.
Hey, my friend, that is my dear friend right there. I love some Kelsey Barnes. Do you hear me?
We have a comment from Miss Jessica Todd. She said, that's the problem I'm having. The doctors haven't been able to help very much. Constant anxiety and depression. Well, Miss Jessica, we gonna inbox you something, okay? Um, and try to help you out. It's not a medical not a medical diagnosis. We're not gonna prescribe anything. We're not here. We're not medical professionals. We're just gonna try to give you some resources
Mm-hmm.
help you out, okay? That's why we're talking with Meek tonight. She got some resources she gonna share with us, and if you stay on live, she may share them right at the end, okay? Isabel said this is great experience. um so my next question: list some stress factors. Share some stress factors with us.
Woo, honey, do you have all night? Do you have all night?
It's gonna relieve my stress. Yes, I do.
Okay, so the main first, it's a lot of them, but the one I want to talk about first is diet. I want to talk about this because I think, no, I don't think, I know in the African American community, and it goes back to our roots. So I told you I'm certified yapper. We can be here to 12 o'clock tomorrow, but we find so much comfort in food that we don't know the impact and results that it has on our body. And I am a living witness to this. And I'm learning day by day, and I have learned, and I'm still learning. But what you put in your body is either helping you live or it's killing you. So we have, especially in the Black community, especially Black women, we have to be careful about the things that we are putting in our body, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Um, so diet, also financial strains. We know this economy is, don't even get me started. We know that it is horrible. So just the economy, the gas prices, rent, people that have children, relationship problems, the type of environment that you're in, the people that you surround yourself with can be either toxic or they can be helping you. Um, Environmental stressors, the type of environment that you live in, if your air quality is bad, if your water is polluted, there's just so many different stressors. Spiritual stress, the type of environment that you're in spiritually, if you, whether you're going through like spiritual warfare, as some people like to call it. I try not to mix those terms up, clinically and spiritually, on a professional platform, but whatever have you, if you are having some spiritual stressors, so it's a lot. It's a lot.
So let me ask you this question because I was talking with my coworker today, and we was talking about blood pressure, and she mentioned, she said, well, every time I get ready to go to the doctor and they take my blood pressure, she said mine increases, and going to the doctor, that's a stressor.
Hmm.
Whether it's just a normal checkup or if you're going because something you feel like something is going wrong. And I believe that when we begin to stress about our health, we shy away from the doctor's office.
That is true.
Why do you think that happens?
Whew. So again, it goes back to our roots. We as and I don't want to not speak on other races, but I only can speak on the black race because that's I'm a member of that community. So it goes back to authority, power, and just fear of fear of doctors. We know the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. We know of plenty experiments where the doctors have not always been in favor of us. So we're still breaking that stigma with people going to the doctor regularly. Also, accessibility. A lot of us live in rural communities where good healthcare is not always accessible to us. Affordability. We know that healthcare insurance is trash right now. And in order to get a certain type of health insurance, you have to pay certain X amount of premiums, or you have to have a specific job. And I have a well-paying job. I do. However, my insurance is still high. My copay is still high. So imagine those with families, with spouses, with multiple children trying to just afford a regular doctor's visit. And then on top of, like we were speaking about at first, a lot of people sometimes in medical fields, they don't have the passion to treat people that look like us. So they're rude to us, they're nasty to us, they are dismissive of what we're saying. So it's so many things that contribute to why people don't want to go to the doctor, on top of being afraid of what the outcome may be. You never know, you could go in, you're thinking you're just having a headache or you're just having a bump or a lump here, and it could turn out to be something else. So fear is a contributing factor as well.
We had a comment. I'm just reading this on. Welcome everybody to the Pink Portal, and the Pink Portal is prevention, inspiration, navigation, and knowledge. And we have special guests on tonight, Shemeka Brock, who's in mental health counseling. She has Meek's Corner, and she's going to talk about that a little bit later on. But she has been dropping some very good information. Isabel said, "Child, ain't nobody taught us anything about those different types of stresses." She said, "We need all of this information." Um,
So true.
True. And someone else said that, that inflammation in your body is a factor. Yes, that's a stress.
Yes, it is.
Yes, that is. And said, food, our diet, that's the worst. That's the worst that we could. Woo, not talking about me because I just ate a wing and some fries, but that's okay.
That's something, we're a work in progress. But also that, just going back to talking about food, we find comfort in food because sometimes, you know, we don't have the money to go on trips. We don't have the money to do this, but a comforting, night is at home having dinner with your family. But like the hog maws and the pig feet and the fried, we got to cut back on that. You know what I'm saying? Because what may be happening now, because it's going it can hurt you in the end. It truly can. It really can.
Okay, so we've heard some stress factors. Um, a lot of people think, oh, it's just some stress. I'll be all right. I go home and I take a aspirin, take a Tylenol, and I lay down. It'll be okay in a couple of days. What are some side effects of stress?
Ooh, side effects: fatigue, restlessness, excessive sleeping, irritability, um, overeating, lack of eating, excessive crying,
Y'all are taking
hives.
She's telling you all of these things. I'm sorry, keep going, me.
Oh no, you're fine. Hives, your skin breaking out, blurred vision, um, your mental health just being all over the place, a messy environment, just thinking about just a tornado around your head and everywhere you're going. Like you said, you're trying to take aspirin, you're trying to do you're trying to treat the symptom and not the problem. So
Wait,
that's the problem.
we're trying to treat the
The symptom and not the problem.
y'all
And
better
I,
take notes.
so the main thing that I try to stress, like with some of the clients that I work with, and even in my own life, is it's better to be proactive instead of reactive.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're already, learning about it, being aware of what stress is and what causes it, and just we're living life. Like you're not going to get by in this life without having stress, but learning how to manage it early on can help you from being reactive. Okay, I had, like we were talking about earlier, I was like, I had a stressful day at work and I know I had this podcast coming up. I don't want to get on here being irritated and, just being passive or whatever. I came home, I took a shower, I lit me some candles, and I just meditated for a little minute. So we have to know what to do. You got to have those techniques. And I got me a little, cucumber, strawberry lemon water so I can just, relax.
Yeah, and it's good that we do practice those things. Some people don't believe in them. They really don't. They don't believe in lighting a candle will help soothe you. I think some have even said like a lavender bath, taking lavender. Lavender is a calmer, a stress reliever. So unplugging from social media.
Hello. Hello. You know that's me right there. You know that's me. You know I get gone in a minute.
That's a stress because we see certain things that we don't agree with, certain things we want to comment on, or certain things we do comment on, and we don't expect the response that we've gotten. And it's a bunch of back and forth, and I'm gonna have the last word, and then one thing leads to the next. Oh no,
Mhm.
no, no. What they said, no, 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 no.
No, no, yep. That's so true. I love to talk about unplugging. What people don't realize is, and we talk about this spiritually too, and also clinically, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you don't have anything in your cup, what are you giving? You're
Mm.
just giving air. So you have to take that time to unplug from everything and everybody. The best love you can give yourself is setting boundaries. It is okay to tell somebody no. No, I can't come today. I have had a long day at work. No, I can't talk on the phone today. I'm just tired. No, I don't want to, whatever. It's okay to tell people no. No is not a bad thing. It's bad when you continue to tell people yes and you burn yourself out, and then now you're irritable, you're flipping out on everybody, and you're neglecting yourself. So setting boundaries, let me tell you something. My people know quick. If you call me and I don't answer the phone, it is nothing personal. I promise you. I have so much going on in my day-to-day life. When I get off of work, sometimes I don't want to talk on the phone. And that's just a boundary that I have set for myself, even with my family, my friends, anybody. At a certain time or at a certain point in the day, I don't want to talk. I may text you and say, hey, what's going on? You okay? Or I'll call you back the next day, whatever. But that's not a boundary that I'm willing to break, because if I do that, then I'll be on the phone all day. And again, I'm a yapper, so I have to learn to set those boundaries.
And that's what we've been talking in the last three meetings, events, programs that we have had. Everybody has brought up learn to set your boundaries. And it's okay to have them. Your boundary simply says, no, you're not coming in this space at this appointed time. It's,
Correct.
you may be like as you say, you may be the yapper of the group. You may be the coordinator of the family, but sometimes you have to step away, set your boundaries, and just say, no, this is my me time.
Hmm.
Welcome to the portal for those who are just joining. And the portal with the pink portal stands for prevention, inspiration, navigation, and knowledge. I'm your host, Narfunda Ross, and we have our special guest on tonight, which Shemeka MUA Meet Brock. Just want to read a couple of comments. Christy, I want to say I got your comment. I thank you. These are a little stress reliever. They helping my eyes see a little bit better tonight. Miss
That's so pretty.
Sandra, she says it's nothing but a emotional roller coaster. When you one week up, you next week you're down. Bridget Patrick, she says, yes, Lord, and just take a break from the news. That's important because
Yes, yes. I do not watch the news. I'm sorry. I don't watch it because I know my emotional capacity. Boundaries and knowing your emotional capacity. I am very emotional when it comes to anything. That's why I unplug a lot from social media. When I see bad things going on, wrecks, people passing away, people being sick, I take it personal because I've seen what that looks like personally. And the news, it just drives you up a wall. For the life of me, I don't see how people just sit there and watch the news. That's just like somebody continuing to slap you in your face, and you're just like, oh, okay, that hurts, but I'm still gonna watch it. Like, I can't. And I think that's because a lot of people from the older generation, that's the way that they got most of their information. And I think it's just a difference in generational things. I don't watch the news. I read a lot. That's how I get my information. So I know that I can take in what I need to take in. I don't have to have somebody putting up there 45 dead in a train crash, and I'm over here thinking like, oh God, now I'm about to ride down the street and die in a train crash. It's not even a train around me. That's external stresses that I don't need. I don't need that.
Sharonda Dawson, she says, no, those two letters is a complete sentence. We
Period.
no, period.
Period. It's a complete sentence. Do you want to? No, I don't. And you do not have to over explain yourself. I think that's where a lot of people get the lines crossed, because if you're explaining yourself, you're getting ready to push your boundaries. Your stop sign was here, but you're explaining, well, I have to do this, 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 and then, well, yeah, I'll do it. No, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Actually, no, I'm and I'm working on it. I'm very like upfront. I'm just like that. But no, I don't want to. Thank you for the offer, though. I don't want to.
And it's okay to say no.
It is.
We talked about stress, the difference between stress and anxiety, some stress contributors. We've also talked about some stress release and techniques. And we've also talked about how stress affects the mental and the physical and how to manage it. Um, so, with that being said, we're down to this question here. I want to know a little bit more about Meek's mental health corner.
All right. So, and I got a shout out to my sister Gresha for this. So, um, we we just my mother's children are very spiritual because that's what she brought us up to be. Shout out to my mom. I love her to death. We were just talking about gifts, and she was like, your gift is the influence of people. You can influence people, you can talk to people, and you also have a mental health degree. She was like, you need to do more with it. But and that was the time when I was on my little, stint, my little 6 month, 5 month stint from Facebook and social media. She was like, you need to do something. Like, it's people out here that's suffering in our community and outside. You need to do something with it. And I was like, girl, I do something with it. That's what I get paid to do. I do that every day. And she's like, no, you need to do something that's not giving you money, that's gonna glorify the kingdom, that'll help God bless you, and you're blessing people. So I thought about it, I meditated on it, and I prayed about it. And I was like, oh, just let me create an Instagram page and just, give tips, information, and just talk about my personal journey through grief, some things that I've experienced with mental health, some things that I've seen, some things that I can talk about clinically, and just kind of be that liaison. So I created an Instagram page, and it's called Meek's Mental Health Corner. I try to post on there at least twice a week. Again, I have a lot of things going on, but I give tips out, resources. I talk about some history. Right now I'm talking about the stages of grief. I'm speaking about my personal experiences of grief, and I'm also talking about what grief may look like, and how to navigate through grief. So if you have an Instagram, you can check that out. I plan to leave it on Instagram because Instagram is has less traffic on there, and I would like for people to be able to go on there at any time without just a big feed of stuff just refreshing all the time like Facebook is, and just have those resources there to talk or whatever, and just inboxing me if they need some assistance.
Okay, what is your Instagram handle?
It is Meek's Mental Health Corner. No spaces, no underscores, just Meek, MEK, Mental Health Corner.
We're gonna put that in the chat if somebody's already connected to her page. If y'all would just put that in the Facebook Meek's Mental Health Corner Instagram, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be somebody who wants to reach out to you. To the young lady earlier that was talking about it. I want you to connect with Meek if you don't mind, and Meek, and if you don't mind,
I don't mind at all.
mind at all. That's one thing. I've learned that people sometimes they say I talk too much, but as you stated earlier, talking is a stress reliever. You
Hmm.
about what you're going through, but it helps relieve stress, and eventually you will get to that point that you can confide in someone, that you can identify with someone, and you can talk to them because holding stuff in is not good.
Not at all.
It's not good. That creates stress and anxiety. Remember, we got an external and an internal factor.
Hmm.
So you got Mixed Mental Corner, and shout out to mom for mom making you do something. She said, do something that you ain't gonna get paid for, that the Lord is gonna bless you. I could shout 10 times off of that.
Don't get me started.
That's what I'm talking about, because you dropped them gems real quick. Uh, and I heard you say that you're talking about how to navigate grief, and that was one of our shows last month, but we were talking about how to navigate grief with children,
Mm.
and you're talking about navigating grief. Talk about that. How was your experience, or how is your experience in navigating grief?
Ooh. And I relate everything back to God. I get that from my mom. I'm getting old, but I feel like God has you go through experiences not only for your personal and spiritual growth, but so that you can help somebody else. When I lost my brother, when I tell you, it's literally I like somebody ripped my heart. I'm talking about literally ripped my heart out and stomped on it. And I'm not talking about one time. I'm talking about continuously just stomping on it and just pounding on it. And I'm like, will you let me breathe? So, and it's so crazy that I can laugh about this now because it was time I couldn't laugh. So it's just, and if you're not on the other side of grief, you won't be able to say this, but I can say this with a lot in me, that grief can be it's something that we have to go through whether we want to go through it or not, but it can have a beautiful outcome, and I am a living witness of it because I learned so much. Yes, I lost my brother, but we know that everybody has a day that they come, and everybody has a day that they has have to leave. So I'm just glad that I was able to experience that. And I feel like I truly grieved very deeply. I didn't hold anything in. God put me in a space where when my brother passed, right before he passed, 2 weeks before, I moved back in with my mom because I was thinking that I was getting ready to move into another apartment. I was just on the waiting list, but God knew where I needed to be when that news was about to happen because, like you said, holding things in and even being lonely and going through grief, that will do something to you. And I know for a fact, had I still been staying alone when my brother passed, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't have properly grieved. I don't know where I would be. Honestly, I can't even say. I don't even know what would have happened. But I was in a space where I just let everything go. I had a time where, I was partying, going out, drinking. You have that because I didn't know what I was doing. Like, there's no roadmap to grief. And then I had a point where it got so dark that I was in my own um mental health uh tornado storm, my own mental health crisis, and it went on for some time, and I suffered in silence for some time, and it had got so bad to one day that I had a full on panic attack at work, and I had to leave work, and I called one of my friends, and I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. I cannot keep going on like this. Like, something has to happen. So that was a turning point for me. And it was a it's a crazy experience, but I learned a lot. I was angry a lot, sad a lot, I was depressed a lot, but for the most part I learned. So I learned how to navigate through grief, and it's not a linear path. um my grieving season might not look like the next person's season, but just having that support system, I did have a very strong support system. My family and my friends, they were there for me. um and just being able, allowing yourself to open up and allowing yourself to feel. Even now, some days I still cry because, not that I am sad internally, I'm just sad like, hey, I want to call my brother, I want to talk about something, but I'm like, he's not here, and I allow myself to cry, and I'll cry for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, let's get back to it, because I can, right now where I'm at, I can't allow myself to sit in it. But if you're in a grieving season, you can sit in it. Sometimes you have to sit in stuff. You can't try to push past everything and, oh, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this. Sometimes you just have to sit in it, and that's the most important part about mental health, and just seeking um that therapy and even resources. You don't need somebody to patty cake you and pat you on the back and say everything is going to be okay and blah blah, because sometimes everything is not going to be okay, but I am going to help you create a roadmap and help you create solutions so that you can navigate through this hard time. And if you are in this hard time again, you have the steps that can help you.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Helping navigate, because sometimes now we do get in grief. Now y'all heard what she said. Sometimes you have to stay in grief, but she just said make that your permanent address. We have to stay there a minute to finish grieving, because if we come out too soon, it's gonna cause some other issues down the road. So
Hmm.
okay to properly grieve when you're grieving. Don't rush it. You grieve at your appointed time, your appointed,
Correct.
that's what you do. Because like I said, this is April is stress awareness month, and when we don't grieve properly, it causes stress. You said you was about to have a panic attack, so we've got to learn some of the things that we rush because of other people, in fear of their opinions and their statements, and oh, you ought to be over that by now.
And people like that, you don't need to be around them. I can tell you, everybody in my circle around them, and I talk about my brother so much. I have never, and I hope they never said it was like, are you over that now? Or are like, have you stop talking about that? You don't need people in your life that is telling you to stop talking about something, because we don't know how something may affect you. You can say, okay, hey, I hear you talking about that a lot. So what are you wanting to do? Do you want me to just listen, or do you want solutions? That's what therapy and stuff is about. And that's how I am in my friendships. Like, I'm gonna listen to you, and like, just in life, I'm gonna listen to you until we're blue in the face. But what are we gonna do? Like, me and one of my friends, we have, because she's in the clinical mental health field too, and we just go back and forth and take time being each other's like emotional support person or whatever. So we may text, and she may be going through something, and she'll say, "Do you have the capacity to deal with what I'm about to tell you today?" And I say yes. And if I say yes, she'll go on and we'll send voice messages for 10, 15 minutes. Or just like yesterday, she said, I'm just going through a rough time right now. I said, do you want to talk about it? Or is this something that you need to go through by yourself? She said, this is something I need to go through by myself. But if I'm ready to talk about it, I know to reach out to you. Everybody doesn't want solutions. Everybody doesn't want to just talk. You have to know the person that you're dealing with, and you have to ask them what they need from you in that moment.
That's a caregiver. We had this a couple of weeks ago about caregiving. We call them pearls, but the L in pearl stands for be a listening ear. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
let them talk it out. We said that early in conversation. Talking helps relieve stress. And when that person is ready to open up what they're actually going through, just be that ear there. But you said you listen or you're going to be a solution. You can give them solutions. I like that, me. We had comment from Noreen Alexander. She said, yes, I was like that when I was going through chemo, which was rough. Let's talk about that just for a second. Um, Being a cancer survivor, that is stressful. That is stressful because we don't know from one visit to the next or from one chemo treatment to the next what is going to take place. And then if you're only given half of the side effects, but then something else happened and they say, oh, that's just a side effect of the chemo. Because I'm just going to share my journey real quick. Um, After my first treatment, the doctor told me, he said, your hair's going to come out. So just be prepared in 21 days. So what you mentioned earlier about being proactive. So I said, well, I'm going to be proactive about this. I'm going to go ahead and shave my hair because at this point, I was taking a mental health challenge to be in front of my physical illness. So
Mm-hmm.
felt like if I was in front of it, then it was not attacking me. I was the causer. So, I'm thinking, go ahead and shave my hair. I don't want to wake up and see it on the pillow. Had my first treatment, getting ready for my second treatment. They said, oh, we can't do your treatment. I was like, okay, what's the problem? So, well, if we give you treatment in 24 hours, you're going to be in the hospital with pneumonia. Didn't nobody tell me this? So then I'm starting to stress out because I have two children at home.
Mm-hmm.
Am I gonna live? Am I gonna die? That is something that us cancer patients we stress ourselves out, worried about our side effects. And it's like she said, it's just one of them things. Like it's something that we have to deal with because even sharing what we're going through at that time, we don't feel like it's a solution. We just need a listening ear. That's all we want. I'm gonna read a couple more comments. Okay, Jessica Todd said, I lost my husband in 2019, and a lot of people don't understand that I'm still grieving. Jessica, you're going to grieve for a long time.
You're gonna grieve forever. And I'm not saying this to be rude because I'm still grieving. I'm still grieving my brother. I still grieve him every day. Every day I wake up, he is the first thing on my mind. Every night when I go to sleep, he is the last thing on my mind. But it's about learning how to navigate life while still grieving. Now, the grieving process, like I said, is non-linear. So you may be up today and down tomorrow, and until somebody you lose somebody close to you like that, you'll never understand. I've had my ex in the past. He lost his bro. I'm sorry, he lost his dad, and I just could not understand like why can't he get it together until I lost my brother. And I'm like, oh wow. I literally had to call and apologize to him because I'm like, I see now, like you don't see until you're in it. You really don't. You really don't.
Education is good, but experience is a better teacher.
Yes, it is.
It's a better teacher. And Miss Noreen, she said, yes, people say things like, you don't look like you're sick. I don't like that either because what does sick supposed to look like?
Right.
What does grief supposed to look like? And
Right.
makeup artists, we put that makeup on, and sometimes we cover up all what we're going through on the inside. So it's learning how to navigate. We need to have a session on conversation too, how people need to conversate with those who may be experiencing some things. But going back to mental health, grieving, that's why it's important as well. You may not need to see a therapist, but you can always go and see a coach that can
Mm-hmm.
help you manage what a therapist may have told you, or a coach may just give you some ideas. Hey, let's try this. The coach may even help you along the way and say, I'm going to walk this journey with you, because nobody walks alone. Nobody walks.
Mm-hmm.
As you stay there, you got to figure out your circle. You got to get you some circle of friends and family members that are going to go with you. And you don't understand it until you have lived through it. Maria Harris, oh yes, ma'am. You don't
Yes.
understand it. And me, I know we creeping up on an hour, and I know you said you can talk all night. We heard you mention problem. That leads us to the Big Charlie Foundation. Talk about Big Charlie.
Right. So, of course, I just spoke about losing my brother. So, me and my brother, when I tell you two peas in a pod, people thought we were twins for a long time, but he was actually 3 years older than me. But we just came from growing up, seeing my mom kind of struggle a little bit. Um, and we just were always, like we're gonna get it out the mud. Well, I'm sure you know what that means, but some other people may not know what that means. Like we're just gonna do this. Like we always talk about sticking to the plan, and he had a passion for cutting hair. And even when he was cutting hair, he would do stuff in the community. He would cook. He would, go to the football games. He loved the Lynette High football team as I do. And he just, we just had a passion for our community, and some of the same beliefs, and things that I have, he had. So with him passing, it was like I would be doing him a disservice to not continue on and doing what we talked about. And I promise you, I'm not about to get emotional right now, but it's like after just going through that grieving season, it's kind of like everything is just coming into fruition. Um, it's just hard because he's not here anymore. It's for him to just kind of see like the plan coming together. I'm doing things in the community that we talked about doing, but he's just not here. So it was just very important that I did that and pay homage to him. Because I still have people, I still have grown men that'll inbox me sometime and like, man, I'm just sitting up here crying because I miss your brother, because his barbershop was so therapeutic to so many young boys, to so many young women, to so many young men. I remember times staying in Montgomery, I would get so happy, and on a Friday, and just come down the road and sit in the shop, and we would just talk about everything, anything. People coming up, everybody selling plates, want to sell some t-shirts, cologne, perfume, or whatever. So I just felt like just keeping his name alive and just doing stuff more in the community, because that's what we're about. Even our family, just friends around us, we're about, fellowship, community, and just empowering others through like service and stuff like that.
So, y'all, we got the Big Charlie Foundation. We got Meek's Mental Health Corner. They are one in the same, I would want to say, because they're here to help us mentally, help us move forward. So we don't be stuck in a mental illness world. And it's being proactive. I done heard folks talk about Big Charlie. Big Charlie gonna be on the wings. He gonna be, homecoming time, giving back, haircuts and stuff like that. When the team would win, hey, we gonna feed the team tonight, stuff like that. All heroes don't wear capes. All heroes don't wear capes. And one last thing before we get off of here, is there any words of empowerment that you would like to share?
Um, aside from everything else, uh, God first, always. And I love to say this in our community. It is important to know that God and mental health and therapy can coexist in the same time. You can go to Bible study, you can go to church, you can go to the Sunday school meeting. Right after that, you can go to your therapy. They even have telehealth. You can take mental health meds and still believe in God. You can be diagnosed with a mental health disorder and still navigate through life. everything is not permanent. Everything is not a death sentence. Get some people in your corner that will help you navigate through life, set boundaries, educate yourself. Education is so powerful. I'm not talking about degrees, I'm not talking about accolades, I'm talking about knowing things that you need to know for yourself, for your children, for your community. I want education to become a main topic again, because it's kind of dying down, and I don't like that, especially with the younger generation. So and just knowing that this is our first life. None of us have lived before. You won't have the blueprint for everything, and just continue to give yourself grace and give other people around you grace as well.
Okay, two numbers that I want y'all to remember. 211. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
211 is a resource that if you're stressing, we're just going to say if you're behind on utilities, on house payment, or if you're about to be, because we know housing, sometimes there can be issues not at, they're involuntary, they're not at your fault, and you can be displaced. Don't stress about it. Call 211. 211 can help you out. If you are feeling, and I know some people like that's the suicide line. No, if you need help, no matter if it's 2 a.m. in the morning, 10 o'clock during the day, call 988. They can connect you with your local resources if you need to go see someone in person. We do stress that you take part in this because you go see a therapist, because you go see a counselor. It's nothing wrong with you. Actually, that's the best thing for you to do and to show others. Don't be afraid. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All okay. We want everybody to live happy and abundant lives. We don't want anybody um to 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 not be that happy person. God designed us all to be happy. And one last thing, and Meek, I think you forgot about it. What's taking place on May 2nd?
Oh, I did. So, in May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We're going to wear green. We're going to be outside, honey. Okay. So, Saturday, May 2nd at 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are hosting the second annual Mental Health Awareness 5K walk. You don't have to run. You can run if you want to. I won't be running. I'll be walking. I'll be walking, and we'll have a lot of vendors and resources out there. Team Whip is one of our vendors that will be out there providing information in their pink and just being unapologetically pink. We have Pastor Kelsey Barnes, who will be out there giving spiritual information and speaking and praying. He has been a part of our walks since we first started. We will have Councilwoman Chrissy Story, Mayor Jamie Hurd. We also will have Integra Mental Health Prevention Team, which is formerly East Alabama Mental Health Prevention. They will be on site. We will have, I don't want to forget anybody. We'll have a lot of vendors out there, and I'm working to get more because and it's free to everybody. I just want people to come out and walk for mental health, to get some resources, to have a good time. I think I'm going to have some people, some food vendors out there for afterwards when we stop, that we can just sit around and fellowship and kind of eat and enjoy each other. But I have a lot of volunteers. If you want to volunteer to set up at a hydration station, or if you want to sponsor anything, we just need water and Gatorade, and maybe like hand sanitizer and trash bags. If you want to do that, you can inbox me or Courtney Cameron. Both of us are hosting and sponsoring this. Um, and I just want to continue to spread, awareness regarding mental health in our area. So we can just help those that are suffering in silence, and those that may be caregivers to people that have mental health, or some people that have spouses and children that are, may experience some type of mental health crisis.
You know what? Caregiving is very important. They're our superheroes. And there are a lot of benefits and resources for caregivers. So you are
Mhm.
resources for mental health. If you are needing, or if you know someone who needs it or wants it, May 2nd is the place to be at the Jane K. Farr Event Center in Lynette, Alabama. That's on North Lanier Avenue. It's in between the fountain and the police station, okay? Come on out. They're gonna have a 5K walk. You don't have to run it, you don't have to walk the distance if you can't, but they will have resources available. This is where we take advantage of it because sometimes we can't make it off of work. We stressing if we take off work because we need to stay at work, and we stressing if I go here, what are they gonna tell me? So on this day, May 2nd, Saturday, it's the first Saturday in May. Come out to the Jane K. Farr Event Center. Get the information. There will be resources available. You can talk to personnel. They will help you out. Come out, fellowship, have fun, relax, release some of this stress that we have
Mhm.
over the last few days. So, Shemeka, I thank you so very much. We had a comment from Christy Cole. She said, "Thank you, ladies. You all are amazing. Thank you, Christy, for joining. We want to thank everybody
Thank you.
tonight. This has been phenomenal, has been inspiring for me. Like I said, we are all things pink, and that stands for prevention, inspiration, navigation, and knowledge. Welcome
Mhm.
to Pink Portal. We thank you, Shemeka Brock, for coming on here.
Thank you, Nar. Talk to you later.
Y'all go follow her Instagram page, Meeks Mental Health Corner, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Y'all have a great evening.
All right. Bye.
Keep on Instagram as well.